Good evening. As a courtesy to everyone, please take a moment and silence any devices you have that may interrupt this evening's meeting. Welcome to the Mayor and Common Council meeting of Westminster, incorporated February 5th, 1819. We are gathered here in historic City Hall, originally an estate built in 1842 by Colonel John K. Longwell. The city acquired this building in 1939, and it has since been the venue where the mayor and council conducts the city business. I'm sure some of you who come to these meetings regularly recognize we are very short-staffed this evening up here. Mayor is sick. One of our council members is stuck on an airplane. He was supposed to be back, but everybody knows what's going on with the airlines these days. Then, of course, we have one vacant council seat. So it is just the three of us this evening. Now we'll begin, as we do every meeting, with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. And gentlemen, if you could please remove your hats. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. One interesting fact about Westminster is in 1892, Westminster held a massive homecoming celebration for Governor Frank Brown, a Carroll County native known as Farmer Brown. While he was officially sworn in at the State House in Annapolis, the local festivities centered around St. John's Catholic Church in Westminster. The local inauguration featured a parade and a grand reception, marking one of the largest public events in the town's 19th century history. Moving on, the council typically convenes on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Please note that these meetings are open to the public here at City Hall and are also streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center website. We extend our gratitude to the Media Center for their partnership in ensuring the public has access to these meetings. Access that is utilized by a young man here in town named Alex Zaleski. And I'd like to take a moment and thank him because it's my understanding that he almost never misses one of these meetings. He is a senior in the Carroll County Public School System, so good on him. And one day he might be sitting right up here at the dais. Copies of tonight's agenda and the entire information packet that the council will be using are available online on the city's website. Hard copies of the agenda are available here in the front of the room for those of you that are in attendance. We have one public hearing this evening. And typically, the mayor conducts those public hearings, but of course, she is sick this evening. So I will be taking off my hat as council president and putting on my temporary mayoral hat to run this public meeting. So I'll hand the gavel to myself. Public hearings in the city of Westminster, like I said, are conducted by the mayor. I'm going to now read a statement relative to this public hearing. Public hearing, Wakefield Valley General Development Plan Amendment DP 24-01, Parcel W and Parcel X. Start time of this meeting is 7:03. This public hearing has been properly published in the Carroll County Times, meeting all state Maryland requirements. Public hearing on Wakefield Valley General Development Plan Amendment DP 24-01, Parcel W and Parcel X to add up to 35 new density rights to Parcel W and construct single-family detached dwelling units and dedicate Parcel X for open space. Now I'll turn it over to staff for a report. Mr. Depot.
Thank you. So Parcel W is 38.2934 acres and Parcel X is 16.0695 acres. Parcel W and Parcel X are owned by WB Westminster LLC in Zone C Conservation Zone. There are no requests or plan to rezone the properties. WB Westminster LLC, the applicant, submitted an application to amend the Wakefield Valley Development Plan, which is referred to DP 2401. This is the proposed fifth requested amendment to the Wakefield Valley Fenby Farm General Development Plan. On July 18th, 2024, DP 2401 was introduced to the Commission, or the Planning Commission, to add 25 new density rights to Parcel W and construct single-family detached dwellings and dedicate parcel X to Carroll Lutheran Village for open space. Carroll Lutheran Village provided a letter dated October 10th, 2022, regarding its support of the proposed amendment and the preservation and dedication to Carroll Lutheran Village of parcel X. Carroll Lutheran Village also expressed its desire to deed or lease parcel X to the city as part of the approval of DP 2401. This plan proposed to essentially develop the entire 38.29 acres of parcel W with very little open space. On October 30th, 2024, by request of the applicant, staff met with the applicant and was provided the first amendment to DP 2401 to increase to 32 new density rights to parcel W for single-family detached dwellings and dedicate parcel X for open space. This plan also proposed again to essentially develop the entire 38.29 acres of parcel W with minimum open space along the edges of the parcel. On December 19, 2024, at the request of the applicant, staff met and was provided a proposed second amendment to DP 2401 to increase 35 new density rights to parcel W for single-family detached dwellings, and again dedicate parcel X for open space. This plan proposed to develop the southern and western half of the parcel W with a larger open space area along Bell Road. Staff shared their concerns with placing houses adjacent to the Wakefield Valley Event Center and the lack of presence along Bell Road consistent with the existing development pattern. On April 1st, 2025, the applicant provided staff a proposed third amendment to DP 2401 with a revised development layout while maintaining the 35 new density rights to parcel W, and again to dedicate parcel X for open space. This plan proposed to develop the northern and western half of the parcel W with a larger open space adjacent to the Wakefield Valley Park and the Event Center and Durbin House. On May 15th, 2025, the proposed third amendment was reintroduced to the commission. The commission was concerned with the narrowness of the lots along the internal roadway, the location of the two houses along Bell Road at the entrance to the development, and the lack of additional houses along Bell Road. Subsequently, the commission requested that DP 2401 be scheduled for a public hearing. On June 9th, 2025, the applicant provided what is now proposed fourth amendment of DP 04 with a revised development plan addressing the commission's May 15th, 2025 work session comments, while again maintaining the 35 new density rights to parcel W to construct single-family detached dwelling units and again to dedicate the open space to parcel X. The revisions included 3 new lots in addition to the 2 lots previously depicted along Bell Road. The additional Bell Road lots reduced the number of lots from 33 to 30, fronting the internal roadway of the development, allowing for larger lots and further separating the driveways to access these 30 lots. The plan proposes an 18.84 acre area of open space adjacent to the Wakefield Valley Park and the Event Center and Durbin House. In addition, the plan located the majority of the stormwater management facilities on parcel W, reducing the need to use an existing stormwater management easement area of 3.1589 acres located on the city's Wakefield Valley Park, which can then be recaptured as usable open space. On September 18th, 2025, the commission held a public hearing on DP 2401. The commission continued the public hearing to its October 21st, 2025 meeting. Following the public hearing, the commission shall submit a report and recommendation to the zoning administrator as to whether the commission favorably or unfavorably forwards the plan development application to the mayor and common council. On October 21st, 2025, the commission closed the public hearing and recommended that they forward the fourth amended development plan and rendering for Wakefield Valley Development Plan Amendment DP 2401, parcel W and parcel X to the mayor and common council with a favorable recommendation subject to 9 conditions. On December 17th, the commission reviewed and forwarded the commission's report and recommendation of a conditional approval to the mayor and common council. Specifically, again, to add 35 density rights to parcel W to construct single-family detached dwelling units, dedicate approximately 18.84 acres of parcel W for open space, and to dedicate parcel X to Carroll Lutheran Village or other entity for open space as depicted in the Fourth Amendment DP 2401. The notice for tonight's Mayor and Common Council public hearing on DP 2401 was advertised on March 3rd, 2026 and March 10th, 2026 in the Carroll County Times, stating the application number, date, time, and place of hearing, and the summary of the amendment and the location of the property, its area, and name of the owner. Written notice of the public hearing was mailed to the property owner and adjacent property owners, and the property was posted, providing again notice of the public hearing. Staff has received approximately 7 calls from the public regarding DP 2401. The calls range from inquiring when and where the public hearing was to take place to concerns with traffic, schools, wildlife, increase in property taxes for adjacent properties, and the price of the new houses within the development of Parcel W. Staff also talked to the property owner of 187 Bell Road regarding their well and water line parcel that's actually located on Parcel W that extends along Bell Road. If you look at page 12, the staff report, this parcel is noted on image 8. It's a very thin parcel that houses that water line and well. Staff has provided the most recent version of the traffic impact study dated July 8th, 2025 for 35 lots that was provided to the Planning and Zoning Commission during their public hearing. Both the 25 lot traffic impact analysis and the 35 lot traffic impact analysis studied the same 8 intersections. All 8 intersections operate at acceptable levels of service, which is a level of service of D or better. The following highlights the differences between the 25 and 35 traffic impact analysis. The Maryland 140 and Warrior Road, Meadow Branch Road intersection goes from a level of service B at 25 lots to a level of service D at 35 lots during morning peak hours. The Uniontown Road and Warrior Road intersection goes from a level of service C at 25 lots to a level of service D at 35 lots during evening peak hours. All remaining intersections operate at a level of service C or better during both morning and evening peak hours, and with no change in level of service from 25 lots to 35 lots. Traffic again will further be reviewed at the preliminary subdivision stage if this project moves forward, which is reviewed and approved by both the county and the city. Carroll County Public Schools manages school enrollment, and this will be reviewed again during the preliminary subdivision stage. Staff cannot speak to wildlife at this time. However, again, at the preliminary subdivision stage, the preliminary subdivision plan itself shall comply with all requirements of the appropriate state agencies, including but not limited to the Department of the Environment. And the Planning Commission may also require additional information in evaluating the preliminary subdivision plan. Staff cannot speak about the increase in property taxes for adjacent properties and the price of the new houses. Staff recommends that the Mayor and Common Council review Development Plan DP 2401 and the Planning and Zoning Commission's favorable report and recommendations to Mayor and Common Council to approve DP 2401. If the Mayor and Common Council approves DP 2401, staff recommends that such approval be to add 35 new density rights to Parcel W, to construct 35 single-family detached dwelling units, to dedicate approximately 18.84 acres of Parcel W to the city for open space, to dedicate Parcel X to Carroll Village or to the city space as depicted on the applicant's 4th amendment to DP 2401, as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and as provided for and discussed in the March 23rd, 2026 public hearing report, subject to the 11 conditions listed in the public hearing report. And that completes my report. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Depot. Before we get started, do either one of my colleagues have any questions for Mr. Depot?
Mr. Depot, just to get a little bit of clarity to make sure we're all on the same page. With the Mayor and Common Council, should we vote in the affirmative tonight? This plan still has to be processed, still goes back to Planning and Zoning Commission. Some of the issues that you brought up tonight, all the Planning and Zoning Commission will have the ability to, better vet and address at that point in time. Is that correct?
That's correct. Again, it goes to the preliminary subdivision plan stage, which is submitted both to the county and the city for review. So the county will review for stormwater management, forest conservation. Bell Road is a county roadway, so they're going to look at the traffic study as well, and they have to approve the traffic study. It will also go to the board of or the Carroll County Public School System as well for review. So all that is done, and until we get favorable approvals or concept approvals from the county, we would then bring it to the Planning and Zoning Commission for review.
So the big thing that we potentially will be doing here tonight is basically affirming the density count of the number of density, and then with all these different conditions that are listed in the report or the resolution.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. Mr. Dayhoff, you have anything? No, sir. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started then in terms of the public hearing. I'm going to just follow folks in the order that they signed up. I would ask that you be relatively brief. We do have a number of people that are asking to speak this evening, so we don't want anybody drawing in too long, please. First, we'll go with Mrs. Joan McKee, 103 St. Paul Court.
Hi, Joan McKee. I'm a resident of Carroll Village, and I see that we have a baker's half dozen here, us residents here. I live at 103 St. Paul Court, and I'm here as a number of residents who use the Wakefield walking path, some with our dogs, and are like many others who enjoyed the golf course, the restaurant years ago, and now celebrate the newly completed event center. From the materials attached in today's agenda, it appears that CLV residents will have a walking path connecting us to the trails in Wakefield Valley. And we hope to learn more about that and the proposed gate just outside CLV. We would also like to know whether that path is exclusively for CLV residents or open to the public, since it is immediately adjacent to a CLV resident's home and appears to terminate on CLV property. And that would be near the RV parking lot. We appreciate that the 16 acres in parcel X will remain C conservation, regardless of whether it is made to CLV or to the city of Westminster. We hope that the 16 acres will remain a permanent natural area and that native trees and bushes are planted wherever possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next we'll call on Mike Lenhart, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, at 231.
Yeah, I'm here as part of the applicants
Yes,
team.
Mr. Sabachi, if it's okay, I think the next few people on that list are all for the applicants,
All
so.
right, Kelly, well then I'll tell you what, you go ahead and drive the
Thank
next
you.
three and we'll take back over after the three of you guys are done.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We're going to do our best to be efficient here tonight. Kelly Schaefer Miller, 73 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland, 21157. If anybody has difficulty hearing me, please let me know. I'm happy to stand up and try to project louder. We are here tonight on behalf of the applicant. I have with me Mr. Richard Kress, who is the property owner, Marty Hackett of CLSI, who prepared the plans that accompanied the application, Mr. Joe Rudder, who's a planner by trade, and Mr. Mike Lenhart, who prepared the traffic impact analysis that you have before you tonight. The request tonight is to make an amendment to the 1978 Wakefield Valley General Development Plan to accommodate 35 single-family detached homes. As set forth in staff reports, this property is subject to that 1978 plan, which supersedes or came before the city's adoption of zoning. So in section 164-133B, which Mr. Dico has cited in his staff report as well, we see that the ordinance recognizes development plans that were approved before that date and then provides for an amendment process that one may apply to go through for those plans. That amendment process, your task here tonight is to review all of our testimony under the subsection of 164-188J. So what we are going to do is we are just going to walk through each subsection and provide you specific information related to each one that supports each of those subsections here tonight. We're going to do that, like I said, as efficiently as possible. So we are going to kind of go back and forth with people because we are going to provide content to you in the organization of those subsections. I do want to point out, and you'll hear testimony of this, that the originally approved density in that 1978 plan was 1.6 dwelling units per acre. Tonight you will hear testimony that the overall density with this plan would be 1.24 density units per acre. The originally approved open space was 40.5% of the acreage of the plan. With the original plan and with the proposal here tonight, the open space acreage would be 43.2%. So both are staying as they should or increasing as they should under the confines of the code. The Planning and Zoning Commission issued a very thorough staff report, which was part of your packet here tonight, so I'm certain that you all reviewed that, and as Mr. Huff asked Mr. Depot, what I was also going to say is that this is really the very first step in a process. If approved here tonight, this would still need to go through a full subdivision plan, submittal and review process, as well as a building permit process. So that includes things such as a full review of the traffic impact analysis and any required mitigation, school capacity, all of those things are reviewed here at subdivision planning process. So with that, to keep you, like I said, my goal here is as organized as possible. What I have done is I created a little cheat sheet for you of just how we're gonna run through the organization here with all of the subsections. That would be helpful. I just leave copies of here. This is just for you guys to take a look at as we run through. So we are going to start with subsection 1 of 164-188J, which says that the zone applied for is in a substantial compliance with the use and density indicated by the master plan or sector plan, and that it does not conflict with the general plan, the city's capital improvement program, or other applicable city plans and policies. So I'm first going to ask Mr. Marty Hackett, who's sitting right here with me. Marty, can you please state your name and address for the record?
Martin Hackett, 439 East Main Street, Westminster, 21157.
Mr. Hackett has appeared in front of this council and the Planning and Zoning Commission as an expert in many years of his history in the city, but I would ask that he be qualified here tonight as an expert in the area of land use design. I'm happy to ask him any qualifying questions if the council.
You not need to, I think we're all in agreement, he's an expert.
Thank you. Mr. Hackett, did you prepare the plan that accompanied the application here tonight?
Yes, we do.
And approximately how long have you worked with Mr. Kress on relative to this property?
I believe probably 13 to 15 years.
And are you familiar with the general development plan that I referenced in my opening that was approved in 1978?
I am.
And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reference you to the pages in your packet because almost everything we're talking about here tonight is what was available online and is part of your packet. So Mr. Hackett, it's labeled exhibit number 4 of the Planning and Zoning Commission exhibit packet, which is council's PDF page number 32. That is a copy of that plan, correct?
Yes,
Okay, on that plan, how many density units were approved as part of the 1978 plan?
768,
And given that amount of density units, what was the average density units per acre allowed under that plan?
1.6 units per acre.
Are you aware of how many dwelling units have actually been constructed to date within the area of that plan?
I believe it's 569.
And how many density units is the subject amendment requesting?
35.
Given the acreage, would the resulting gross allowable density, what would the resulting gross allowable density be if the subject plan is approved?
1.24 units per acre.
And I'm going to point council to PDF page 37 of your packet, which was exhibit 5 in the Planning and Zoning Commission exhibit packet. I did have extra copies of that whole packet printed here, so in case anybody else is floundering right now, I will leave them right there. That is exhibit 5, which is PDF page 37. That is the density chart that shows that calculation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. On the 1978 development plan, how many acres of open space were contemplated?
78 plan was 200.14 acres.
Given the acreage of that plan, what was the percentage of open space indicated on that?
40 point. 40.8.
And with the subject amendment, how many acres of open space are proposed across the entire area of the 1978 plan?
222.02 acres.
And specific to the area shown on our amendment, how much of open space is proposed?
that would be 36.36 acres.
And that's made up of the Carroll Lutheran Village parcel, the parcel that is to be dedicated to Carroll Lutheran Village, the open space shown within our proposed development, and the open space that will be controlled by the HOA of our development. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, given that acreage that is shown on that proposed amendment, I'm going to refer you to what was exhibit number 6 of the Planning and Zoning Commission packet, which is council's PDF page 38. That is an open space chart that goes through the breakdown of acreage, correct?
That's correct.
And given the acreage shown on the proposed amendment, what would the resulting percentage of open space be relative to our plan?
42.9.
And in your opinion, having reviewed the 1978 Wakefield Valley Plan, is the proposed amendment in substantial compliance with that Wakefield Valley Plan?
Yes, it is.
Are you aware of whether the proposed subdivision will require an additional water allocation?
It will not require any additional, that the water allocations are based on a memorandum of understanding. And I don't know the exact date of that.
Well, I will point council here to what was included as exhibit number 7 in the Planning and Zoning Commission packet, and is your council PDF pages 39 through 44. That includes the memorandum of understanding that Mr. Hackett just referenced. And that also includes, does it not, Marty, a chart breaking down the remaining water allocations available for this development?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I'm gonna jump gears with you because we're gonna go to Mr. Joe Rudder for a second. Joe, can you please state your name and address for the record?
Joseph Rudder, 3435 Jennings Chapel Road, Woodbine, 1797.
Now, I don't know if any of you have spoken with Mr. Rudder, so I'm happy to ask him the qualifying questions. His resume is included in the packet. He was accepted as an expert by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I'm going to ask that he be qualified as an expert in the area of planning and land use. But I am happy to run through his resume with you, which is in that packet as exhibit number 2 of the Planning and Zoning Commission exhibits, if you would like me to.
Stipulated.
Yep, good to go.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rudder, in preparing for this case, did you have the opportunity to review and visit the subject property?
Yes, it is.
And is the subject property within the priority funding area?
Yes, it is.
Can you please explain succinctly the significance of that?
That's when the state adopted the smart growth legislation a number of years ago. They created 4 tiers. Tier 1 was the areas that were targeted for growth, and municipalities were always T1, tier 1. Then it goes down. Tier 2 is suburban, and then 3 and 4 are the rural agricultural type areas.
Thank you. In preparing for this case, did you have the opportunity to thoroughly review the city's master plan to evaluate whether the proposed plan conflicts at all with that plan?
I believe that the plan is very consistent with the master plan.
Can you please explain some of your reasoning for saying?
There's several points. The 2009 master plan in chapter 4, it addresses the municipal growth, and it notes that the current capacity and projected growth would result in build out by 2024, 2 years ago. So it was pretty aggressive with the growth. It provides that, and I'll quote this, even with annexable acres, Westminster needs to look within the city boundaries first, plan for implementing the goals outlined in the municipal growth element to accommodate future population growth in an efficient and orderly manner. Then in chapter 5, it provides part 4, some areas of concern. In order to accommodate projected population growth for the next 20 years, Westminster will need to increase the housing unit capacity of the city by at least 648 units. This will require the city of Westminster to look inside its boundaries for opportunities to develop housing units, making vacant land a precious resource. As the amount of vacant land continues to decrease, the need for housing units increases, promoting creative mixed use infill or redevelopment of existing unconventional parcels becomes a priority.
Is the Wakefield Valley site specifically called out on its own in section 6 of the comprehensive plan?
Yes, so on page 81, it's noted, and it's also noted in the staff report, the plan acknowledges that the land use designation amendment at this time does not change the approved development plan for Wakefield Valley. Chapter 6, page 92 addresses protection of environmental resources. The strategic lot layout presented by Mr. Hackett addresses the master plan design objectives by concentrating the development to maximize open space and protect the environmental features.
Now, Mr. Rudder, is it accurate to say that there are a bunch more references throughout the comprehensive plan
Yeah.
that support the finding that this amendment is in conformance with the plan?
Yes, there are numerous sections, and I think the staff report did a great job of summarizing the key points.
In an effort to be succinct, have we prepared those in an exhibit?
Oh, yes.
I have handed you all a copy of what I have marked as applicant's exhibit 1, which is the only new exhibit, if you will, that we are entering tonight. That is just a summation of quotes and relevant sections from the town's master plan. That Mr. Rudder just sort of summarized, but this has the detailed list in that for you.
Do you have an extra copy?
Yes,
Can you give it to our attorney, please?
yes, he.
I get mine.
Yeah, sorry. I would like to ask that applicant's exhibit 1 please be entered.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you. We are next going to move to section 164, 188J2, which requires that the proposed development would comply with the purposes, standards, and regulations of the zone as set forth in Articles 2 through 15, would provide for the maximum safety, convenience, and amenity of the residents of the development, and would be compatible with adjacent development. And I hope that through part of this, we can also answer some of Ms. McKee's questions about that Carroll Village piece as well. So, Mr. Hackett, you're up again. Can you just say your name for the record, please?
Martin Hackett.
Are you still an expert?
Can you
I don't
please,
know.
can you please explain the zoning and land use of the surrounding area?
The zoning and land use, it's predominantly residential zoning. It's residential land use. The zoning varies in throughout, but it's majority of R20,000 zoning. There are some conservation zones. And obviously under the Wakefield Valley plan, the underlying zoning is the Wakefield development plan is sort of an overlay zone to those zones. And I don't know how it's worded in the ordinance is it's I shouldn't say not irrelevant, but the opinion is the underlying zoning doesn't apply, if you will. If it's the development plan takes precedence over the actual underlying zone.
And the proposed development adjoins immediately what is a large acreage of city park, correct?
That's correct.
And that was in fact dedicated to the city under that MOU that you referenced
That's
from
correct.
the same owner of the property, correct?
That's correct.
And then to the left of the subject parcel, it's adjoined by what's known as parcel X, which is reserved as open space for the benefit of Carroll Village, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, the ownership of Carroll Village joined in this application by a letter submitted with the initial filing. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And is it your understanding that Carroll Village for parcel X is amenable to allowing that to be used by visitors of the public park and connect to the trail system?
That's correct.
As part of that proposal is the developer here tonight, Richard Kress, proposing and offering to rehab that trail system through parcel X and provide some passive park amenities such as benches and gazebos on that parcel.
That's correct.
And I know that you can't speak for the ownership of Carroll Lutheran, Marty, but can you explain to council the reference to the gate, the gated access?
Yeah, as we're working with Carroll Lutheran on this, they, knowing that the pathway and the park ties into Carroll Lutheran, that they would, they were looking at doing some sort of gate and fencing along that upper area where it would tie in to where the people of Carroll Lutheran can access, they'll have the accessibility, if you will. And
Accessibility to enter the trail network from the Carroll
Carroll
Lutheran
Lutheran.
tie-in, correct?
yes,
But that
Sure.
it would
People from-
include people from public from then entering onto Carroll Lutheran Village.
that's correct. Yeah, and they've been, the parcel itself on how they're very flexible on how that works, whether the city takes ownership of it, maintains it, or they take ownership of it, but the city maintains it, that kind of thing. And we'll be working through that through the preliminary plan and subdivision process.
Marty, can you, aside from what's being proposed on parcel X, can you explain on the plan how the sidewalk network works and connects to the greater park?
Proposed road system that we're putting in, it's gonna have public sidewalks on it, and the road's gonna be owned and maintained by the city of Westminster, like pretty much all the roads are within the city. We plan on taking the sidewalks and tying the pathway system into the sidewalks to sort of tie the open space area, which is gonna have the 18 acres, which we're creating. We'll have trail systems in that. It'll tie over to the new building, your facility over there now, and sort of just tie everything together so people will be able to have continuous movement all the way around the park.
The 1978 plan already mentions that the majority of the site, the time of the golf course, is open with substantial portions of the remaining areas covered with mixed hardwoods. Can you please explain how the proposed plan preserves some of those mature hardwoods?
Well, yeah, we have basically, the acreage that we're preserving just on the parcel W is approximately 26 acres of area where it's gonna be preserved. We're keeping the grading and all basically to the area of the lots for the most part. We do have some stormwater management or bio facilities that are gonna have to go outside that area. We were able to, as stated before by Mr. Depot, the facility where we thought it was gonna go years ago, and we reserved an easement for that. We don't believe there's a need for that anymore, so that's gonna open up that space to be usable open space as well.
So by concentrating the development, we've preserved the maximum amount of open space. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And you understand, I think it was a comment in the staff report, but you understand that through any subdivision plan process, we would need to comply with the landscape manual, correct?
Oh, yes.
And I think you just basically talked us through, but is there any additional details on the road network that's being proposed here that you'd like to offer?
No, it's gonna be a typical section city like you see in most subdivisions.
So moving on to 164, 188J3, which is related to the proposed vehicular and pedestrian circulation systems, adequacy and efficiency. Most of which Mr. Hackett just covered in his discussion on the pedestrian connectivity. But I'm going to ask Mr. Mike Lenhart to please introduce himself by stating his name and address.
Good evening, Michael Lenhart with Lenhart Traffic Consulting, 231 The Holiest Road, Suite 250, Millersville, Maryland, 21108.
Mr. Lenhart's, a copy of his resume is included in your packet as PDF page 31. It was number 3 in the Planning and Zoning Commission exhibit packet. He was accepted as an expert in the area of traffic engineering by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and he has done several projects in the city of Westminster and Carroll County in his history. I'm happy to walk him through any questions related to his educational background and professional background. Mr. Lenhart, was your firm hired to prepare traffic impact analysis related to this proposal?
Yes, we were.
And is that traffic impact analysis part of the submittal and packet that the council has reviewed here today?
Yes, it is.
As part of any subdivision proposal, do you understand that staff would require a traffic impact analysis submittal and full review?
Yes, it would be required as part of the preliminary plan of subdivision.
Okay. Can you explain to members of council just generally how a traffic impact analysis is prepared and how it is scoped?
The town does not have its own specific requirements for traffic impact studies, so we use the Carroll County traffic impact study requirements in their APF ordinance. We scope the study with the town and with the county and state highway administration input. The study that we've done for this amendment had 8 study intersections. We conducted traffic counts at each of those. During the morning and evening peak hour, we had growth in regional traffic, 3% growth. We had approved background developments that are not yet built. We did include the Griswold subdivision in this traffic impact study. And then we had the site traffic in, and Carroll County has requirements on level of service analysis and methodologies and acceptable levels of service. And this, as Mr. Depot testified, all of the study intersections in this report did operate at an acceptable level of service D or better. We understand that we will have to do an updated study for the preliminary plan, and we'll have to go through this process again.
So today, is it your opinion that the proposed vehicular systems are adequate to handle the proposed amendment?
That's correct.
And this, to be clear, a traffic impact analysis would be submitted with any subdivision plan, and if something changed at that point in time, that would all need to be addressed. Either way, whether it changed or not, that would be reviewed and any changes would need to be addressed, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. We're almost there. We're at 164-188J4, which requires that by its design, by minimizing grading, by other means, the proposed development would tend to prevent erosion of the soil and to preserve natural vegetation and other natural features of the site. So I am back with Mr. Hackett. Mr. Hackett, you previously mentioned, and a lot of this you kind of already covered, so we'll just remind very briefly. You previously mentioned that the strategic lot layout maximizes the open space. Does that in turn also mean that it minimizes the disturbance?
Yes, it does.
And you previously spoke to the layout preserving a significant amount of the mature trees on site. Is that correct?
That's correct. The area of open space, the 18 acres, there's since the beginning, we've always tried to maintain, there's a steep slope area out there that has very heavily vegetated and heavily wooded. We're going to maintain preserving that and all the other trees that are along there. The entranceway going into your new facility, all those trees stay and they're quite mature. I've always thought they were a great buffer from the property anyway, throughout the process. The grading, you have to meet grading requirements. So by the time you meet road design criteria and the grading criteria, we try to keep everything to a minimum, but we also want to have nice lots for future homeowners.
And how would you compare the size of the lot proposed to the surrounding area?
And when we say the surrounding area, the Wakefield area itself, we're probably slightly larger with 1/3 to half-acre lots that are all the properties in the city. Some of them have townhomes around, some of them have multifamily, like the Carroll County Village. Some of those structures are obviously much larger than a single family home. But it's all relative and very compatible.
Mr. Hackett, I'm switching you to section 164-188J5, which requires that any proposals, including restrictions, agreements, or other documents, which show the ownership and method of assuring perpetual maintenance of those areas, if any, that are intended to be used for recreation or other common or quasi-public purposes are adequate and sufficient. Mr. Hackett, you previously mentioned the pocket of open space that is in the midst of the community. Is it correct that that would be governed by a homeowners association that would be established for this community?
Yes, would.
And that would be done through the subdivision process, correct?
That's correct.
And you also previously mentioned the open space buffer between the park and the development, which is about 18 acres, I believe. Is it accurate that the developer would be willing to dedicate that to the city as has been enumerated as a condition of approval tonight?
Yes, that's correct.
And that would also be done through the subdivision process,
That's
correct? Okay. And you've already spoken about the Carroll Lutheran Village piece, but it's your understanding that the intent is that no matter who owns it, whether it be the city or Carroll Lutheran Village, that that will remain passive parkland, correct?
That's correct, absolutely.
I will briefly submit to you that section 164-188J6, which requires just conformance with the pertinent statutory requirements, has been met through the application, through the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation, and through the staff report. You'll see that the application is complete and accurate under your code requirements. And that concludes all of our testimony here tonight. I do want to make it very clear that all of these people are more than willing to answer specific questions. We were intentionally efficient as it related to the traffic impact study and such, but those are very detailed documents. So should you have any questions specific to any of that, we are here and happy to answer them.
Mr. President, I have a question. Or point of clarification, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. The open space parcel X and the part that is going to be going to the city, which is part of W, which is basically close to half of parcel W. That's all going to be incorporated basically as part of the park. The question of the ownership of the one parcel might, but it's going to be used as public park area. We already talked about the gate as it goes into Carroll Lutheran Village. I just want to be clear that I'm understanding this correctly. There are trails within the development itself, as well as the HOA open space parcel that's kind of in the center of the roadway. All of that, correct me if I'm wrong, is public. Is it the intent is it to be public as well? Because I don't see how you're going to be able to stop somebody from walking through there when you have a park all around. Is that correct?
That is correct. The intent is that that will all connect to the trail system.
Yeah, so all the trails that we're seeing on these two parcels are going to be able to be used as part of the public trail system. But the only place that we're talking about, which is already the case, is once you enter onto private property, which is Carroll Lutheran Village, that of course not become part of the public trail system.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
No questions.
So, Ms. Miller, my question is on parcel X. When we originally negotiated this deal back 15 years ago, or whatever it was, with Mr. Kress, the intention was to give that piece to Carroll Lutheran Village. But it's my understanding that it's going to come to us instead, is the way this is sounding. Is that the intention here?
I think that that is what Carroll Lutheran Village's desire is.
That's my understanding, but I want to make sure that is in fact, there's no one here from Carroll
No, I
Lutheran
did
Village.
invite Mr. Powell to attend. I don't know that he was able to attend tonight. I know that he has been having some discussions with ownership. So he's very aware, and I also made him aware of the condition in the staff report, which he did not have any problem with. He communicated to me that their desires remain the same, that it stay passive parkland, and that whether it be owned by Carroll Lutheran or the city, it would be passive.
But I would suspect it's advantageous for them to give it to us because then we have to maintain it versus they have to maintain it. Taxes, things like that. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was clear
Yes.
with LSN and D.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
that's the intention, which is my understanding that was the case, but, okay, good. I just wanted to make that very clear in
Yeah,
public.
and I believe that what you're probably referencing is their letter of support, which was filed with the initial application. It's been some years since the initial application for this was filed, but I believe that that is still pretty much fully their position.
All right, thank you. Hearing no other questions, we'll continue on with the hearing. We have one last person that signed up, and that is Lewis, but I can't make this writing out on the first name.
First one's Galen Lewis.
Galen, okay.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Galen Lewis.
193
193
Bell
Bell
Road.
Road. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I was just trying to figure out with you guys and everything about the water situation. I've already had to redo a well and everything, so is it gonna be public water or are they all gonna be wells? And then is it gonna have street lamps and the Adams Mill Road and Bell Road intersection, that side goes to a single lane, which is tight to drive already. And I wanted to know about the traffic, if there was like, you've done any research on that, sorry, I don't. So. That's okay.
It's okay, so
Yeah.
the way hearing works, you're talking to us,
Oh,
giving
okay.
us testimony, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We may ask them to answer a question during this hearing, but you can't.
Those are my
talk-
questions.
You can't talk about
That's
that,
fine.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I can answer one of your questions,
Okay.
which is absolutely, it's all gonna be public water, so
Okay.
there will be no wells
Right.
being used. As far as streetlights, that was your second question. I that's probably not completely vetted out yet, is it? That's gonna come later in the process, I would suspect. So we're not, that would be
Sure,
part of
about
what we're talking about this evening, but certainly, I'm sure you can get their information.
Okay, yeah.
Get your desire there, but something you'd like to see. Well, there's still more process to be had. This is just very early, as
Yep.
Miller said. What was the last part you were asking about, the traffic study side?
Yeah, the traffic study at the other side of Bell Road at Adams Mill.
Was that part of the study?
We did study that intersection, the results of that, and it is, the roads are narrow, all rural roads, but the intersection operates at the level of service A.
Anything else, sir?
No.
Okay. I would recommend that at the conclusion of speaking, you grab some
Yep.
contact information, so if you think it's any discussion you might want to have, this just continues through the process. Good. Now, that is it for those that signed up this evening to speak, although I will go ahead and allow anyone else, if they would like to speak, you want to say your name and your address, I'll give you a couple minutes. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and conclude. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, my name is David Barry. I live on 1050 Fenby Farm Road.
Mhm.
So my interest is from the perspective of living on Fenby Farm Road, looking at the back of these homes that are being developed. So the homes that are being developed, are they going to be two-story homes, 2,000 square foot, or the size of the homes? Just curious about that. And maybe the way I heard so far, it sounds like the parcels will be anywhere from a half acre to 3/4 acre lots. And the last question on that part is, the road that's being proposed coming off of Bell Road, is that a 50-foot wide, city standard street, or will it be different?
So as far as the homes go, I do believe they are two-story homes that are gonna go in there. Most of them will be. I don't know the answer to your other question in terms of the exact size of all the lots, but I think that's in the ballpark of what we heard today, what you just said. Lastly, on the road, you said, I didn't understand that part of it. I'm sorry.
The road width is 30 feet of paving,
Uh-huh.
or a 50-foot right of way.
Okay, the right of ways for the. Good. Sir, what was your address again?
Well, 1050 Fenby Farm Road. It's 21158.
Mr. President, I do have a question.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Could you speak a little bit, I know that this is still a process to go through. But could you address a little bit about what the developer's vision is as far as the type of housing that's gonna go in there, like, 2-story square footage? And I know this is all very preliminary, but I'm sure you all have already thought some about that. So could you speak to a little bit about what the current thinking is, and with the understanding, of course, during the development process that may change?
Yes, I will speak and then I will ask that Marty correct me if I'm misspoke. The anticipation is these will be high-end, single-family detached residential homes, obviously. I think the square footage, and I even saw it referenced in the packet somewhere, is anywhere between 2,500 to 3,500 square feet plus.
Correct.
Definitely 2 stories, that is correct. I believe that the lots are designed such that they can accommodate that. Obviously, we can't commit specifically, but the theory is that some of these could be opportune for, sort of custom home builder situation. And we want to have very aesthetically appealing homes. And obviously, we will also be subject to your design manual through the subdivision plan process as well. So these have been designed with some flexibility to accommodate some of the desires of the residents that would be buying these in terms of garages and those sorts of features of the homes. Marty, I don't know if you can get into any more specifics.
I think size wise, the lots can accommodate pretty large homes. We have the width that our goal is to try to do as many side load garages as possible. But if there's a house that's very wide and stuff like that, it might have a combination of both to a degree. But yeah, just being the location, the 35 lots that we're looking at proposing, you're looking at one of the most attractive places around. It's, right across the street of Bell Road, there's some homes all along Bell Road. It's just, it's a nice area. And, obviously, the market is where right now, they're not gonna be cheap. They're gonna be on the expensive side.
Answer your question, Mr. Huff?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Dayhoff, you good? Sir. Yes, okay. I am going to go ahead and call the public hearing to a close at 7:56. All right. We can go ahead and continue on. If anyone wants to go ahead and exit now would be a good time. I'll just pause for a minute.
All right. Got it, but hey, this guy can fly for a while.
Folks, we do need to continue our meeting, so we need everybody to exit if they're gonna exit. Thank you. Okay. Now we'll consider approval of previous meeting minutes. We have minutes from one meeting held on March 9th, 2026. I have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. Is there any discussion regarding the motion on the table? Hearing done, all those in favor, and let me pause for a minute. Doug, I will be voting on everything this evening, obviously. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. And the minutes are approved. We have two items on the consent calendar this evening. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion
Thank
to
you,
approve the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Huff.
And I'll second it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dayhoff. You guys are hardworking tonight. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the consent calendar is approved. We have no report from the mayor this evening. We will not have an art council report. Economic and community development, Mr. Huff.
Nothing to report tonight, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Finance Committee, Mr. Pecoraro is not here this evening, and we have no Personnel Committee report either. We do have a Public Safety report, of which I chair. Our committee met on March 18th to review recruitment efforts, which continue to be very successful. The department remains well-staffed. We were also updated on the ongoing traffic study taking place in several areas of town. Data collected is now fully underway, and with conducting devices being deployed throughout the study zones to gather the information needed for a thorough analysis. There was also some retail thefts that were occurring. And on March 15, 2026, officers from the Westminster Police Department, in coordination with the Maryland State Police, conducted a traffic stop that led to the arrest of 2 individuals responsible for stealing over $2,600 of merchandise from Dick's Sporting Goods. Further investigation revealed evidence linking the suspects to multiple thefts throughout the region. This case highlights the effectiveness of interagency collaboration and proactive enforcement in addressing organized theft rings. So a job well done, Chief. We'll move on to Public Works. Mr. Pepperell is not here. Rec and Parks, Mr. Daya.
No report, sir.
Thank you very much. Intergovernmental, Mr. Huff.
The only thing I will mention is that the General Assembly will be wrapping up things on April the 13th. I will share that so far, everything is going well, that the IR committee is paying attention to as it relates to Westminster. And I will have a more thorough report after we get through session.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we'll move on to council comments and discussion. Mr. Dayhoff, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Huff, you have anything?
I do not.
Nor do I. And we will keep moving right along. We have 2 ordinances this evening before us. And Mr. Whitworth, if you want to take us away on the first one.
Yes, good evening, Mr. President. The first is the adoption of Resolution 26-10, a resolution of the Mayor and Common Council of the City of Westminster approving Wakefield Valley Development Plan Amendment DP 24-01.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Depot.
I have nothing more to add. The resolution does point out the conditions, the 11 conditions of approval as recommended by staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I do want to just clarify one thing that for the record, the Westminster Planning and Zoning Commission report and recommendation, there was actually a typo. It says December 17, 2024. It was actually 2025. I just wanted that to be clarified for the public record.
Okay, thank you, sir. Well, let's go ahead and then get a motion and a second, get it on the floor, and then we can have some discussion about it. So if I can have a motion, please.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion for the adoption of Resolution 2610.
Thank you very much, Mr. Huff. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dayhoff. Let's have some discussion regarding this.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I would like to comment in reference to, I made some notes here, but I can't find them right at the moment, but I wanted to make some comments related to being the ex officio member on the Planning and Zoning Commission. This has come, as you saw from the staff report, to the Planning and Zoning Commission numerous times. And I just really want to commend the work of staff, as well as our Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as the applicant. I think you can really tell on a mayor and common council level when you look at the staff report and you see all the variations of the different development plans as they were working through the process to get here today. I think you can tell that a lot of work and thought went into that. And I think the product that we see here tonight is a very attractive subdivision and will be a real benefit to the community, especially when you consider all the additional open space that quite frankly is being included by the developer before it's turned over to the city. So I just kind of want to shout out to my members that are on the Planning and Zoning Commission to kind of point out their hard work related to this, as well as staff. And the applicant was very willing to work. Sometimes as a planning and zoning, when you're on planning and zoning, you can get a little bit frustrated because you will give feedback to an applicant and then they'll come back to you and you're like, did you not listen to the feedback last time? I will say I did not feel a lot of that with this particular case. And sometimes we do. So I really appreciate the applicant's efforts in that regard as well.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. Mr. Huff, you have anything?
As Mr. Hackett will testify, I've been through a lot of these hearings over the years. A lot. This was really well done, and I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the additional open space. I'm looking forward to the addition of the high quality housing stuff. Community.
very much appreciative of that. And I just really appreciate the diligence, perseverance, how well this was prepared. I think this is a real quality addition to our community. Can't thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. I'd like to take a moment and thank Mr. Kress specifically.
Yes.
When we negotiated the deal for Wakefield initially, it was very clear there was no contract zoning agreement. It was done without any promise of anything. It's taken quite a few years to get here. And it's gone through a very arduous process. And through it, you've stuck with it. You've proven to the city of Westminster that you're a good friend. Wakefield Valley sits there in its glory, in great part due to you. We've got a wonderful community just south of downtown in Stonegate that has some beautiful homes in it that I think went well above what probably you even anticipated when you started that project, which is good for the city and good for the citizens here. So you have been a good friend to Westminster. I'm excited about this project. I think it's going to be a great asset to the community, and I'm looking forward to voting in favor of this and getting this thing moved through the process so you can get started building some more beautiful homes in our community.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I asked one other question of staff. Mr. Depot, I just want to clarify something. So when we're voting on this today as mayor and common council, what eventually comes back to the Planning and Zoning Commission has to look very similar to what we're voting on tonight. Is that correct?
That's correct. As part of the resolution, you are accepting the amendment, the Fourth Amendment for the 35 lots, the 18 acres, the dedication, the parcel X. So when it comes back with preliminary subdivision plan, it has to be consistent with that plan that you've seen tonight. What you're
So it's kind of similar to like when we dealt with the East Green Street condo, where not that changes can't happen, all those technical changes, but it's not like when it goes to the Planning and Zoning Commission and goes through that process, the mayor and common council are going to be surprised to see a totally different plan. The plan that we have before us today is going to be very materially similar to what eventually goes to the planning and zoning process and gets approved.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I think we are ready for a vote, unless there's any further discussion. Okay, hearing no more discussion, I'll ask all those in favor of adoption of resolution adoption of resolution 26-10, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is approved. Adopted, I'm sorry. We'll now move on to our next item of business. Whitworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next is the adoption of resolution 26-11, a resolution of the mayor and common council of the city of Westminster in support of House Bill 1142, establishing the task force to modernize county and municipal revenue sources.
Thank you very much. Mayor Becker wasn't able to be here with us this evening, so Mr. Huff is going to speak on this resolution. Mr. Huff.
So the Maryland Municipal League is looking for different municipalities to pass a resolution in support of House Bill 1142. What 1142 does is just simply form a task force, which has to give a report back to the General Assembly by the end of this year. As we've had many discussions over the years related to tax differentials, tax set-offs, May and Shell counties, part of this task force will look at some of those issues, because quite frankly, not to upset my friends on the county commissioner level, but arguably we do not get our fair share back from the county taxes that we should.
I'm not sure that's arguable.
Well, true, it is very clear. But there's a multitude of issues where it comes to this kind of issue, because the county has issues as well. Long story short, the House has already passed the bill. It just happened today. It was by a vote of 100 to 33 nays. So it is now working its way through the Senate. and hopefully will pass before the end of session. With that in mind, I would like to make a motion to amend the resolution first. And let me explain what my motion is. I would like to amend the resolution 2611 in the very last paragraph that begins now therefore be it resolved. I would like to delete and urges the House Ways and Means Committee to issue a favorable report. I would like to instead just read now therefore be it resolved, the mayor and common council of the city of Westminster formally supports the passage of House Bill 1142. It has already passed the House Ways and Means Committee. It's already been voted out of the House, but this bill did not have a companion Senate bill. So this version of the bill is the one that's going over to the Senate. So by modifying the resolution this way, it still serves its purpose and we can still forward it on to our friends in the Senate.
We have a second.
Second, that's amended.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I could insert something, I don't think you have a motion on the floor as is, so maybe you would want a motion to adopt resolution 26-11 as amended by Mr. Huff.
That would be fine with me. We don't have to do it. I guess it's two separate. So,
Because you don't have it in record yet.
yep, you want to go ahead and make your motion to adopt it as amended?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to adopt as amended with what we just discussed.
And you're seconding that?
Second, that's amended.
Is that good? Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor of adoption of resolution 2611 as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it and the resolution is adopted. We have no unfinished business that I'm aware of this evening. Is there any unfinished business that I'm not aware of? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. I have no new business this evening. Is there any new business that I'm not aware of? Moving on, we will go ahead and have departmental reports. Ms. Inholz.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a shortened staff here tonight, some of whom are off on vacation, some of whom are out sick, some of whom are working on the budget.
Well, that reflects the dais nicely.
Yes. So I'll give you an abbreviated report. I want to start tonight by thanking the planning department and specifically Mr. Depot for his leadership and efforts getting through the project that you've heard tonight. There's always a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than many realize. We've had good partners with the applicants tonight, so thank you for being. I've heard about this project since I actually interviewed with this job, so I'm really excited. Today's a big win for everyone here, especially the applicants. So we're very excited to have you. We look forward to moving through the process as quickly as you're ready to. And again, thank you, Mr. Tipo, for your leadership there.
Thank you.
We will move on to your report tonight.
Okay, sorry. On March 19th, the Planning and Zoning Commission forwarded a recommendation to approve zoning map amendment ZMA 2401, The Willows, an application for zonal classification to the PD9 zone to develop 42/2 residential dwelling units, including planned development plan option 3 and architectural elevations option A as amended, and option B to the mayor and common council. There are no applications scheduled for the Board of Zoning Appeals April 7th meeting. On April 8th, the Historic District Commission is scheduled to review facade improvement program applications. We received 11 this year. Only 6 are moving forward that meet the standards for the application. On April 23rd, the mayor will be hosting a community meeting, which is open to the public to learn more about the Westminster Historic District National Register update. This gives the public the ability to ask questions and speak with the consultant, which is EAC Archaeology, Inc., performing the update. This update is funded through a matching grant from the Maryland Historic Trust. The mayor's community meeting will be held from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at Exploration Commons in downtown Westminster at 50 East Main Street. We are also sending out letters to all the owners of properties in the historic district regarding the update and the mayor's community meeting. And that completes my
When
report.
did we say that meeting was, Mr. Depot?
It is April 23rd, a month from today.
April
23rd from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Mr. Debo, I do have one other question related to the Willows. I know that there were some elevations that are continuing to be kind of refined a little bit. When is the expectation that that'll come up to the mayor and common council level?
Let's see. We're looking at a June timeframe for the mayor and common council hearing.
And that's assuming that you get the elevations fine tuned.
Fine-tune elevations, average housing requirements, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions for the planning department? Hearing none, we'll move on to the public works department. Just have a quick update on the paving at Albion and Sherwood lots. So the Albion and the outer portion of Sherwood lots have been completed, but they're not open yet because they need to be striped. Tomorrow, we will complete the rest of the topping of the Sherwood lot. The base has been finished already, but that has to be completely dry, or we can stick the top on and it rained or Monday morning. Once that all dries, then we'll finish the striping. We're hoping to have both of those lots open by Wednesday at the end of the day if the weather can works with us. Questions on the public works report? Hearing none, we'll move on to the police department. Chief Price.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I just have two things I'd like to highlight from the last reporting period. First is on March 10th, 2026, WPD partnered with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office to participate in the Leadership Carroll All-Day program. This initiative provides current and emerging community leaders a hands-on understanding of law enforcement operations. Participants engaged in practical scenarios, observed demonstrations from several of our specialized units, helping to strengthen the community awareness and partnerships across the county. A great program, and everybody did well, and I think all the emerging leaders really enjoyed it. Second thing is we conducted a traffic enforcement initiative on Route 140 on March 13th, 2026. We partnered with Maryland State Police and the Sheriff's Office and conducted a high visibility traffic enforcement initiative targeting aggressive driving behavior. The operation resulted in 262 traffic stops, 69 citations issued, 254 warnings, 38 safety equipment repair orders, in addition to 1 criminal arrest and 3 DUI arrests. This collaborative effort underscores the department's ongoing commitment to work with the other agencies and to make sure we're keeping the roadways safe in Carroll County. So that's my report.
Very impressive. Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions for the chief?
I have a question. That was just a snapshot. Are we going to do that more in the future?
Yeah, there are plans to do more initiatives, especially as we come into the warmer summertime.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hearing none, Mr. President, that concludes the departmental reports.
Wonderful. We'll now move on to citizen comment, the final item on our agenda, during which we invite the public to address the mayor and council on any issues related to tonight's agenda or other city matters. For those not attending this public meeting, we welcome your comments via email at comments@westminstermd.gov. All email comments will be shared with the mayor and council. Please include your address and phone number with your comments. We will now invite comments from those present this evening. This is an opportunity for the public to share their thoughts with the mayor and council. Our role at this point is to listen to your comments and respond appropriately after consulting with staff and each other. Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to be heard? Hearing none, that concludes our agenda and the meeting.
Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lindy, I apologize. I didn't look far enough over. The floor is yours, Lindy.
Linda McNulty, 195 West Main Street. I just like to thank the city for their efficient removal of the snow on Main Street.
Who's that? Well, she's sitting right there. Let her know. That's great. Thank you, Lindy. Okay, anybody else? Make sure I don't miss anybody. That concludes our agenda and the meeting. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is a special council meeting on Monday, April 6, 2026 at 5:30 to appoint a new council member to the currently vacant seat. And with that, without objection, we are adjourned.